Hello and welcome back. I'm John. This is Warcast and Resources Soviet Republic. We are still here, but today is the day we're going to start actually planning the expansion into the next area, which is Hittite. I don't know when I built the Ferris wheel the last time, but I had no idea that they had colored little cabins on there. Very nice. Not sure that the giraffe over here is as happy as it should be right next to the zebras, but that polar bear looks super happy, looking around being like, hey, let me out, please. Yeah, I followed one of the tourists around for a little while. It didn't seem that bothered by anything, but also it doesn't really seem like it's making all that much money for me, but then in the end, it's fine. Chemicals is almost done. It looks like this is done. Advanced hotel standards, logistics optimization. We may as well get this started. But I'm okay with the lowest number of researchers on there as possible. We could probably turn one off if you want some money. You are right. Let's just turn this one off for right now and send everyone to the technical university and make sure they come through. Prefer students with a higher education. Sounds good. Chemistry is pretty much done. And then I realized that most of my buildings had this set to max or 100 instead of 5, which is also why I wasn't getting money because my workforce was so low. But that is fixed now, and everyone seems to be doing a little bit here and there, which is fine. Research program finished. Great. What's the next one that I need to care about? I think geology is probably... Concrete is high up there, but geology too. If we could make it so that by the time I get to the expansion part, I can actually see coal and not just pretend that coal is there, same with the oil, I would feel a little better. Great. So the first thing we need to figure out is, what do we do here? What do you want to do here? First, we probably should get a workforce out here. And granted, I could have done this beforehand. I didn't. So... let's throw the road depot in here. Let's get a quick connection to... Come on. Really? You're gonna fight me on a green line that goes to that side? You gotta be kidding me. Get me a fuel station because I don't want these excavators to go to a funny side anytime soon. Should I build a real fuel station somewhere in the city? Yeah. It will happen. Leave me alone. You guys, I would like some... fuel delivered to here as well. That would be great. And then we have these excavators that are currently not doing anything that can be assigned to the new home of the brigade. Great. When they arrive, is there anything important in here? Probably, but no, I just don't like the notification system in this game. It's not important enough. There's not enough stuff that is useful in a non-perfect environment, and Bebo Joe builds non-perfect environments like every human being should. So, not super helpful, but that's fine. Are you gonna be in walking range of that building? Oh yeah, totally. That's totally why I wanted the footpath over here. No, I completely forgot about that. But that's okay. So they're building this, that's fine. I actually have some people without their own flat, 27 already, so I'm glad that this one just got completed. This one is about to be completed, and I have a little bit of money. I may as well get this one started, because they will all start happening. Something I learned, I don't have to build these anymore, because technically this one can be accessed by footpath from vehicle or people. So having any of the small containers anywhere in the city is not really necessary anymore, but for variety reasons, we do it anyways, so deal with it. It's fine. It's not the end of the world for anyone. But let's collect our free road depots that we have sitting over here. Good. Do we have everything working well right here, right now? I think the answer is yes. Fuel is going to be delivered before anything else happens. That is a good thing. So now we can start figuring out where do we want what. I do like the idea of chemicals here. I kind of like the idea of an incinerator here, which is effectively in the middle of the two cities. So maybe I'll just start with that, because we are paying for incineration right now, and we're not importing hazardous waste yet. Once we have some capacity, that is not the end of the world. 1,000 meters in this direction and a good 1,000 meters in that direction. That is 1,000. That is middle. That is smack dab middle. Can't really make that any better. So let's see if the incinerator will play along. 20 tons, we said 8 tons is about 300 meters. If we use that rounded number, it goes down as we go further out. This is about 3 times as much, not even, it's 2.5 times as much. So 8 meters times 2.5, 8 tons, 300 tons. Math, numbers. No. Okay. 300 times 2.5 is 300, 600, 750. So 1,000 meters should be more than sufficient to do the thing that we want to do here. So yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind. This is completely not unnecessary, but it is not as important as I make it to be right now. That is true. This one, the incinerator will take in all the mixed waste and spit out ash, hopefully. No, it's not separating stuff. Without a separator, this is not going to do you all that much good. Gravel recycling plant is not very helpful. I want general separation plant right next to you or in front of you to make things worth anything, but now what? You just talked this one up. Are you gonna get rid of it? I don't know yet. I do want a large dump. How big is this dump? 220 tons versus 360 tons. 360 is a good number, but I don't think it matters. So you would spit this out. Great. Let's just assume that you would. You would take this one and drop off. Let's see. Do it like this. Perfect. Beautiful. This one is the in. This one is the out. You have to pick it up from here. It will take forever if you do that one. So let's at least build the one with a crane. Cool. T to flip the road in the other direction. That looks good. You can connect here. Now we have it. You can bring any waste here. Will get burned. Comes out. It can only consume 10 tons per day. Is that a lot or little? For 2 cities, I'm hoping it's okay. I don't want to look at my production for waste because I know the numbers aren't right. But if we look at last month, waste production industry is 15 tons per month. This month is 208 tons per month. As you can see, something is messed up here, right? But there you go. 208 tons per month. Yeah, maybe this is not enough, but maybe at least hazardous waste can go in here and everything else goes to the border. I don't know. I don't mind if this one is kind of behind a rail connected corridor. That feels like a not so shabby problem that we're solving here. Trying to figure out, dude, where do you want it to go? Because technically this is the right connection, but practically you don't have a roundabout here yet because you refused to build one for the farm connection that you had here at some point. True. So where's that thing gonna go? Are you gonna have 2 roads? One's gonna go this way and one is gonna go the other way, or what? Yeah, asking a question. We can just tear down this thing and make a quick little roundabout over here. Now that we have some gravel road sitting there and that's just gonna get wasted. Yes. Or you connect that one here, make a parallel road. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of like the parallel road a little better because we're probably going to use this for other things too. At some point at least, and that is totally fine. Okay, let's waste a little bit of fuel here. Just like that, and get this connection into some other area because we will have the gravel road, not the gravel road, but the gravel quarry and friends sitting over here, and I like that connection better. We can still make it gravel or better. Do you want to go? I don't like the idea of having a short queue line right in front of the input, so we're just going to make both of these a little longer, and hopefully that's long enough and that's all fine. None of this has to be built yet. This was just a fun little excursion for something that I think we may do at some point somewhere. Maybe. Our excavators have arrived. What should we build first? What should we plan on first? The city will take the longest, so I think it's the best thing to just start with the city. All right, numbers. Get your pencils out because this is going to be in my mind and I will forget about it. I will try to help myself by just putting this in a region here. So we want chemicals and forest on this thing, plus the oil production. I talked about the oil power plant, but honestly, I don't think we need that. I wouldn't mind being able to collect all of the oil here into a reservoir and eventually actually move that around somewhere else. So I kind of want to leave these here, but I'm probably only going to build one, which the only one we have to build right away is this one, because that one produces 50%. The other one's only 35. It doesn't really, it's not that much of a difference. 15%. Yeah, you can really do anyone. Okay, well, we'll do anyone then. But the math has to math. Chemical plant that we want to build is this one. You have this. It's actually small. This is lovely. I know, being distracted already. You don't have that much pollution, which is wonderful. So you can pretty much go anywhere here, and you require how many workers? 200. Okay, so 600 workers right here. This chemical plant. Where's your oil connection? Your oil connection is looking the wrong way. Go that way. Oil was the highest volume of all the units that you wanted to move. Gravel was right after that, right? Gravel? 2.5 tons. No, yeah, gravel is the lowest. Okay, gravel is fine. Crops. Are you going to get crops from here? Honestly, right there, it's not a bad place for crops. I think I'm overthinking this, as usual. But I do need the numbers. I cannot do this planning for the city without the numbers. I tried to make that very clear in the first 1 or 2 episodes. So we may as well do this right. 900 meters doesn't feel that terrible. So I feel confident-esque that I can probably just throw you in here, flip you over, reverse you like so. Now we're just going to have some fuel pump storage sitting right over there. The gravel connection is not super great. No, it's not. The gravel connection is not super great, but I think we're just going to have a truck delivery system for all of this. And the best part, I think we can get a free liquid connection right here. Beautiful. Not sure that we're going to build that, but that's where it's going to go. 600 people right there. We will have a farm in between here, so all of the road connection that has to be connected in here, which honestly means that this highway that we have building into this direction is probably going to disappear and run over the mountain into whatever the industry is out here. That would make a lot more sense. Trust me, I believe that. Ooh, storages. Cool. 300 tons or 90 tons or... Well, this one is probably the biggest one you want to put in between there. We can still get that later. Let's just say this is what we have. We're going to put wood right behind it. We're going to put a farm right in front of it. And they can farm whatever they need to farm here. How much they actually consume? You weren't consuming all that much. No, you weren't. You were, what was it, 2.8 tons? 2.6 tons. 2.5 tons in 30 days. That is... I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 3. 30 days, so you consume 90 tons of crops. That's one field. That's one field. One normal field. With good fertility. So let's say 1,200 tons a year, give or take. That is 4 large fields. 4 large fields should easily be able to feed this thing. And I don't think I want to put more crops in here. So 4 large fields for a medium-sized farm or 2 small farms should be totally sufficient. That feels good. The solid fertilizer, I do think, yeah. This one goes down pretty fast, so they do need their own. Otherwise, that's not going to work. But that is fine, because cows only eat water. Clearly. Is that an exploit? Yeah, a little bit. But that's fine. So, we still had 600 people for this. And nothing really for the wood people, because the wood feller is 10 people, but it works with 2 just fine. Just have 1 car coming out every once in a while, and you should be good. So we're still at 600 people. What else are you going to build here? I would like, and this is where the big numbers come in probably, I would like a brick factory, and I don't mind having the bigger one. 51, 15, 75 workers, so 225 on top of the 600. We're now at 850. We have the woodworker in there too. 850. Yep, 850. Last number, 850. That's the brick factory. Great. If we want to do brick, we need to have our own coal coming in. Apparently it's not there, it's under fossil fuels. Coal coming in, a crappy coal mine requires 100 workers and can produce 420 tons of coal ore in a good production. So let's call it 200 tons of coal ore. And then we can turn 200 tons of coal ore So almost 1-to-1 into... It's not quite half, it's like 55%. So 200 tons, call it 100 tons, if we're lucky. 100 tons of coal out of 200 tons of coal ore. We want to feed that into power production at some point. Nope. Come on. You will consume 12 out of those 100 tons, approximately, maybe 110 tons, if it's actually 55%. Numbers are hard. Numbers are hard when I'm sitting here. Okay, this one needs 10 people, so we're still at less than 900. We're maybe at 900 people right now if we want to map that out. No, we're not, because we're at 600 and 250 for the brick factory, and then the coal mine actually requires another 100 on top of that. That's 300 people, so we're now at 1,200 people. Okay, 1,200 people, approximately. The coal processing plant usually doesn't need that many, so we're still at about 1,200 people, give or take. And that should be good. And now we have a coal mine. Just one. I don't think we want two, necessarily. Coal processor. Oh, I didn't figure out if the 100 tons of coal is enough for the brick that's around us. You want to consume 33 tons of coal. Perfect. Yeah, we have leftover coal, even with a crappy connection or not enough people. So this is all good stuff. Doesn't matter which brick factory we use. Nobody really produces all that much pollution. So we're at 1,200. Okay. We talked about gravel already. Gravel over here, 5 workers, 1,200. The incinerator over here also does not have a lot of worker requirement. 5. Beautiful. So just a car from this side and a car from this side, probably setting in line spacing, maybe even using end station, but that's fine. We're at about 1,200 people. Great, that's a good size for the cities that we can currently build, with the sizes of residential buildings and the density of residential buildings that we have available. So all of those things actually are good. This, that excites me actually a little bit. We have people not working because workplace not available. Go get on this. Build both of these things, because once those are done, the workforce shortage should be taken care of and turned directly into money. 85 per shift fills this thing up. That's exciting. We do have to get this one a little maxed out, but we still have a little bit of extra sitting right there. So yeah, currently this is sitting at 50% because of just one clothing factory. If we get both of them running, great, and then the rest can just go into booze. Not really a problem. Anyways, 1,200 people is what we want. Great. On cue. I was waiting for that guy. On cue. If we want to build the rest of the police infrastructure, we have to also account for that. Police large? Nah, we can probably do small ones, but this is more service utilities, so this one's hard to math out. The 1,200 worker city, we need to add another quarter, which is 300 workers, for infrastructure parts in the city, which is 300 workers. On top of that, but then we also need to run a court. This court needs 40, so 120 people on top of that, so we're now at least 1,600 people. On top of that, we need to run a prison. Just 40, that's actually surprising, but we don't have that many prisoners in here, but that's another 120 people. So city-wise, we need another 1,800 to 2,000 citizen environment, which is what this one is. We are not maxed out, but we're getting close to it, and this looks good. This is what I want to see. We are relatively happy, but I'm not maxed out here, and I'm not maxed out here. Both of those things together mean we're not completely screwed yet, which is a good thing. Why are there that many, too many people at the zoo? Go away. I want most of you to just start working here. Great. 2,000. That's the number that we're playing with. And I will forget it, so we will call this city, not clone, not pick, not connect 2 pipes. We're going to create a city area. This is 2,000, 2K, M, brick, coal, power. We'll see if I rename that better later on. But that's what we're going to start with. Also, Cambridge, sorry, too realistic. Not happening. Cool. So 2,000. that's what we need. Now we can build the rest of the infrastructure, which sadly is about the same as what we already built, but practically should give us a good starting point for the next part. Let's take some road away that we know we're not going to use. Actually, let's start even further away, because this road has to go up the hill in just a second when we do something, but this is still our border for where we actually want the city to go. Worker number wise, actually we are in a realm where this guy at 200 workers per shift can use a gondola. Yeah, gondolas are great. They can move up to 300 workers per shift just fine, and very consistently and much better frequency than anything else in the game. Gondolas are great for this thing, so let's account for that. And then down here we have the where are you? We have the coal mine, which should be somewhere in this area. This is fine. 43% is more than sufficient for what I was hoping for in this area. Can we get any better than that? Nope. 40%. Great. So coal will come in there and we'll spit out right down here. But we do have... Do I have to build this, or can I just build two of the stations and one bus station and call it good? I think we can... Well, no. Do your math. Do your math. This coal mine requires 100 workers. We had a 300 worker limit. I think we're fine, but we want to make sure that this is all good. So the coal mine takes 100 of the shift. Then the brick factory takes another, what, 75? Okay, we're at 175. That's good. And then we need the coal power plant. I think that was only 15. 10. 185. So we have 200 going there and 200, give or take, going over here. That should be fine. So yeah, we just have one pointed kind of in this direction and one pointed up here, and we should be golden. I like it. I don't get to use them enough, but they're an excellent tool for especially this stuff. How do they work? We need heavy cableway pole. Okay. I didn't remember. Nope. What's there to research? Heavy cableway pole. Not there. Would be nice if we can just research this. Design of steel cables. Steel material. Introduction of metallurgy. Don't question me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Design of steel cables. It looks like this one. Design of steel cables. Okay, so before I can do that, I have to get there, and down here. So currently we're doing something that doesn't really matter, because we do need the cableway stations to actually fit in there, which will take a little while. What are you researching right now? Geology. We already know where the coal is. Go away and start doing metallurgy. Yes, you can actually increase that number a little bit, because we're good on higher education numbers and it's increasing, which is what we want. But yes, I would like some cableways in here. That would be super. Here's what I'm going to do. I will add a couple placeholders. The placeholders will be relatively large stations. There will be bus stop 1 here and bus stop 2 right here. They have their footpaths pointed at each other, and hopefully I can remember this. This is cableway placeholder M. Okay, and then this one is cableway placeholder coal. Beautiful. Done it. Great. Footpath or road and connection wise, I think that will just go to the north side here. I'm not terribly worried about that. I don't know that these are too far away from anything, but let's do some gentle sketches. The first one would be middle from there. I would like to... Actually, this is perfect. 330 meters? Yeah, let's do this. Actually, let's do that and then do a radius. A radius that should give you a near perfect indicator of how far you're off. There you go. They don't all have to be in direct... let's see here. I want to do that again. Take the last one away, and then I need another 350 meters right there. Perfect. They are not going to be perfect, but they give you a good enough indicator for how far you can actually go. And I'm just terraforming here so I can actually put the roads in. But if that is where I want my cableways, then that is how big the city can actually go. Which is not a terrible size. I don't need everyone in the city to be able to reach the cableway stations or the bus stations, whatever you want to look at them for. But I need them to be available. And this is fine. The thing that I can do now is just put the most important building, which is the shopping center, right in the center of all of this. And we can call all of this great. Gotta do the math again. You cannot get away from math, and even when you do math, you're gonna do it wrong. You forget something, and you realize the recipe that you actually thought of was a different recipe, so now you're just screwed. But 7,500 people for 45 workers. Great. 22 workers can do 3,250. 22 workers, 3,250. Not that. I should look at the max number of visitors, otherwise you're just going to confuse yourself. 400 visitors equals 7,500, which means almost 200%. Almost 200%, like 175%. Let's do 200% and we'll just take some numbers off. 180 is almost 200, so we're close to 3,500 people. This is fine, but this is probably the shopping center that we already used. This one is a little bigger. Is it? 30? 100? So 100 is closer to 2,000, which is a little too close to the number that I'm thinking of. It will actually be a little too close for that. And this one as well. This small store, sorry, you're not even close to what I need from you. Sadly or luckily, we will have to use the exact same setup that we already did earlier, which could be worse, could be better. It is what it is. Get that one plopped in here. Delivery-wise, this one falls into a situation where I'm not completely opposed to using distribution offices and maybe having something already associated in the middle for better distribution to both cities. But we see how all that has to play out. And, well, if I have to, I will remove some road here. But right now, luckily, it's just all dirt. That's fine. Cool. So you can go there. You could move these two a little further this way, and then your city doesn't have to be this cramped. I don't think it's that cramped. And it's more about walking distance. This is almost 300 meters, which is not the end of the world, but it's really the outside area that you care about. Yeah, you could move this one right here. That's the center of the town. That's really what you care about. And then these guys, you do have to house... Listen to me now. You do have to house all the crime and justice people somewhere too, and they don't have to go to the cableway station. They don't have to go work in the mines. They can actually go work wherever they feel like. So this will be fine. This will be fine. If you put the actual thing in the center, right here, should be good. Then the cableway placeholders, we're still going to use the same ones because I actually like the sizes. We'll just go here and RR here. Placing them like this hopefully gives me an indicator of the roads don't make sense. I can't build anything there. Something like that. Also, the sound of voice should be pretty similar. But that should get me there, and now we have at least most of these in catchment radius. Not all of them, but that's fine. Okay, that one is here. The next thing, you will never get around this, sadly. This is starting to happen too much. I need the city sooner rather than later. Let's check this again. We're still at 1 and 2%. We're not all terrible, but it's not going to get better. Luckily, we're making money, and that is helpful. Nobody's living without their own flat right now. Nobody has moved in there yet. That's actually good news. But we have the 7% unemployed workers, which is fine. Are you guys doing what you're supposed to do? You have everything that you need, which means they're probably driving out to the places where they belong. Good. That's all good news. Great. With all that, let's fill this in more. Meat storage. There's no good reason not to do it. So here's a tip. Just do it. Put the meat storage right next to where you need it, because you will regret it otherwise. The small warehouse that was part of the community update. Version 119 or after, absolutely recommend it. And then you just need a couple of connections, and this should be just fine. And then you can connect into whatever you want. Cool, that's our first one, and this will be part of the main road connection that goes into the city. which means there will most probably be a simple roundabout right here. Let's do this, and then this, and then sure. That's a little too big. There you go. That one tickles my fancy, so let's go with this guy. That actually doesn't look terrible. And then we can take this one back a little bit, make a semi-straight connection right here, take you out from there, and take you out. Oh, come on! No, you can do it. You can do it. It's not straight enough. That's what it's telling me. It's not straight enough. Go away without breaking anything. Then we're going to do a long enough piece right there. We have three nodes on the roundabout, so it should be easy to remove that one. Then go 1, 2 out from there. 1, 2. Nope, it's not going to do the 1, 2, but that's fine. And then we're just going to remove the middle one. Middle one removed. Beautiful. And then why didn't you use this connection versus this one? Normally this doesn't bother me, but apparently it bothers me enough today. So here we are. Let's get a new node. Where can we get one? Can we get one with this? Nope, can't get one with that. Just build a road connection. It doesn't really matter. Then remove a piece of node that you don't really care for. And then add one somewhat reasonable in the direction that you want at a slightly reasonable angle. That's good. That's good. That's good. Remove that. Remove this piece of road. And now you have a road connection that's not completely hideous. It's not perfect, but it's not completely hideous. Besides this little piece, it's super kinky. And now it's less kinky because it's more round. Beautiful. Got that one taken care of. No. This is done. Woohoo! I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell. Next part. There will be people here and people here. Very good. I'm tempted to just have some of the people out here go to the go more to the crime and justice department workspaces, and then everyone else can go somewhere else. For what we have for bus platforms, honestly, we technically have these bus stops, the old ones. Their throughput is just terrible. Stations for vehicle loading and unloading is just 2. Bad. Here it's 4, but there's only one way in and one way out. That is bad. That does not help your throughput. So the only ones that you really want to use is this really big one, which we can't get to yet, or the triple stop bus platform, which is my current preference. And this should actually work. This actually shouldn't be all that bad. If I can... Angle? Yeah, sure. Why not? You put an angle there, and you give yourself an in on this side, and an out on this side. What is that going to do to everything else? I'll make it different. I'm expecting that all or most of the road connections will have to go through the roundabout to get in or out of whatever is going on here. So I'm not terrified of this arrangement, although that road is not even pretend straight. That was actually kind of awful. So honestly, let's just make this one your main road, and then the rest can just kind of fiddle in where it needs to be fiddled in. And we will get to that when we need to get to that. Let's get this one also connected to something. And then you know that you need a 2-road connection to the rest of the industries. I do. So let's get those connected in some natural fashion, and they can just come out, you know, up here and run wherever they need to run. I don't know where they're going to go yet, but that's all fine. Okay, so there's a bus station in the middle of the field, effectively. That's wonderful. Money looks good. Unemployment looks not great, but I think we're taking care of things. If I bring more people here, we're just going to run out of materials faster, so there's not much really to do right there. But we have this. Great. Let's go down our list. Small shopping center, done. Bus stop, done. The bus stop is also there to help us split out people that can't reach the areas of interest by foot right away. That's good. Do we want booze? Yes, we want booze. It can be somewhere close to our general bus stop thing, so we're just going to plop it down there. But producing alcohol, I don't feel bad about this. If we don't produce alcohol for some reason, I just prefer not to supply them with stuff. House of Culture or cinema. It's not even... The main thing I'm looking at is what visitors can you make happy, and the number is very simply in the cinema's favor. It's not even close, so the cinema is going to be slightly offset, but also by the bus station. Good enough. Gallery of Art, I wouldn't mind having a new one sitting somewhere as another culture building, but I'm not sure that it will really have the impact that I would like it to have. But if we put it near the bus station again, we may have a chance to actually get that one all tangled in and figured out. Sporting events, I would be if this had an actual animation, yes, I would. Other than that, it's just so big. It's too big for everything that I want to do. For the size of city that I have right now. Once we get into a 10,000 people city, yes, totally, let's do it, but not here. Sports hall for a little bit of gym action. Why not? Let's plop you close to here. Sport is one of the things that you can reach by extending through anything that's a station or similar, so that's all good. And then we will add more of the regular sporting places around the city, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Emergencies. Yes, we are still looking at a small city, so we don't need a hospital. A clinic will be sufficient, as long as there are driving paths everywhere, and I honestly think that will be fine. But it will be better if you're in a place where you truly had road access to everything, which honestly just makes me feel like, why don't you just connect this half moon to the rest of the city? Because you will also have to worry about trash and similar things, actually being able to access all the things. So having something that goes all the way around that will then take footpaths when appropriate feels good. Speaking of footpaths, where's our trash gonna go? Oh, that's gonna be an afterthought as usual. No problem. Fire station. Not worth really messing with this. There's the parking spots for vehicle 2 versus 5. I know what my answer for that is. And I would like you to be very close to probably here. Is there any chance that they're gonna make it up to I'll put you here. Is there any chance that these are going to make it up to the industry when there's a fire? I don't know, but if there's a chance, I will take it. Otherwise, there's probably going to be another fire station out here. You already know that there's another fire station out there. Do you really want to have it here with an earthquake? Can I make it to this side? The other part of the question is, if there's an earthquake, can they make it to something out here? And I think the answer is yes. So yeah, this is not a terrible place for it. Good. Kindergarten, as usual. We'll forget that and add it afterwards. School, yes, we'll need one near the bus stop, because that's where the kids like to hang out, unless there's a big mall. So make them happy. Orphanage was a discussion in the comments. They are fixed, technically. They are working better than they did before. Like the original implementation had them automatically overload themselves all the time. You could not build enough orphanages to handle all orphans, and once an orphanage was overloaded, nobody was happy anymore. Just like a prison. They fixed that the orphanage is not overloading itself anymore. However, if you have a well-oiled, functioning republic where you don't have building collapses all the time, so you don't kill the parents, when you have minimum escapes, you're not going to have 0, but if you have almost no escapes happening most of the time, then you don't get a lot of orphans. Or incrimination, when you send incarceration, that's the word. When people get incarcerated, those are the reasons why kids become orphans, and once they become orphans, they want to go somewhere. If you have a well-functioning republic, The number of orphans, I did not math this, I'm throwing this out there, is somewhere between 1 and 5% of your republic. That's not a lot. And then you math into that you actually have to spend 15 workers of your workforce, which today is 2,100, no, which today is 1,400. 15 workers is that 1%. So do I want to spend 1% of my workers to get 1% of my workers and end up with zero gain? Not yet. Later, when you have excess workforce, sure, you can get a couple extra ones, but even then, you have excess workforce already. Why do you need more workers? Type of thing. An orphanage is just not that interesting to me. It's really easy to screw up. It's not that helpful in the long run, so I generally don't play with it. But it's an interesting roleplay aspect. Every city requires a university. There's no exception to this because you need educated workers. Just make sure that this is in range of the bus station that you have down here, and you should be fine. We haven't built a medical yet, so that is the natural progression here. That's what we're going to put there. Great. No. We could throw a dorm in there. It's not necessary yet because we don't really have places that are not in walking range of a university, so that should be fine. Police station. Do we want the big one or do we want the little one? Part of me thinks that Bath may require a large police station by the time we turn it on, but we can also just add another small police station. So I think 1,500 people around there is the number of people that we want. We can get 10 and 2. Honestly, I'd much rather build 2 of these than one of the big ones. So yeah, let's just start building one there, and we may build another one out here. That will be fine. Courthouse and stuff, yes, we talked about that. That will be very important. We're going to throw that over here. Prison, of course, will be very, very, very important. I will keep that out. Hold on. If you put that over here, you may actually have a chance to bring a prison bus up to the industries where you want them to work, especially in the mine. Well, if you want the mines will be closer to this side anyway, so you may as well make use of that. I don't hate it. So if the mine is going to be out here, we could have a shortcut that actually runs out there, and we use some prison workers. I love it. I love it. I just came up with that. I'm pretty stoked about that one. So that's what we're going to do. I like it. But that's the prison. What else do we need? Accounting office, just wasting workers really at that point. Technical service office, yes, definitely at some point we have to handle a waste somewhere. Probably will happen mostly over here. And then I think we're good. I think we're good with all of those. So let's start building our residential areas. What choices do we have? We really don't have any. We can build more of the ones that we already built. Is this actually the one that we built? Did we build 145? No, we built the 90s. Okay, let's build the 145. And then throw some 90s in there. What was the number that we threw out earlier? Do you remember? It was around 1,800, and then I rounded up to 2,000 just because I did wrong math somewhere, I'm sure, and I will forget something somewhere. So more is better. So we just need about 10 of these will give us 1,500s, and then 4 more will give us effectively another 600 people. So 14 of these. It's going to be really hard to walk through these guys, so place them more in the middle than anything else. 1, 2, 3, that can move. 4, 5, that can move. This will be a little easier. 6. That was a mistake. Let's do that again. Why? Because I can use R and have better angles. Let's do this. 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. Leave a little bit of room here. Okay, 11, 12. Okay, 12, and we're gonna end up with 16, but I'm okay with that. Why? Because we're going to clone this little square that I built just a second ago and fit it right here because it looked like it would actually fit there. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It's all big buildings, but it will take care of all the things that we need. Okay, speaking of things that we need water. Okay, there's some room out here. There's even some room for a technical service out here if we wanted to. There's some room for normal access. I don't know what we want to do with the rail here. I think the rail will just jump under this, and then we call that one perfect. So really all we need here is to finalize road. Once we have road finalized, we can start building gravel. Once we have gravel road finalized, we can bring in the rest. And that should be pretty decent for what we need. But 16 of these buildings is the size that we're looking for. These two are well in range of most places. This building is probably a little bit out of it. These two potentially also. But they're all in range of this guy, so that shouldn't be a problem. The prison, I think, is taken care of. Yeah, I think I like where this is heading. Okay, so with that, we have to figure out what our railroad crossing is going to be. Do we want to do that before or after we put in the gravel quarries that we have over here, as we see our money going up and our unemployment went to nothing, which means this guy got turned on. Woohoo! I'm excited. Which then means, in turn, we have to actually turn this one on. But that's all really, really good news. Also, I'm a little surprised that this one is not really filling out. But look at the money that we actually made off of those tourists. Is that a lot or a little? Please tell me. Put in the comments what you think of that production. But I'm pretty happy right now with that, so we may as well keep it at that. I think this is the one that I need. Let's do gravel really, really quick. Let's see how many we can actually fit here. Because I'm pretty sure that these will produce pretty much max output as long as they have some access. Our research program is done. I'm going to jump over to that. Yes, I do look at the notification every once in a while when they're important. Is it this one? No, it's this one, right? Research tree. Scroll. We researched that one. Yes, I need this to get to that. So we're not that far off. And this one's just 1,100 workdays. That's perfect. So we can actually start planning potentially before we have to start building anything for the cableways. So we don't have to hopefully tear down anything once we're done. So there's 3. Do we want to do another? What can this one actually handle? 40 tons of quarried stone that have to be brought in by very small trucks. We won't have big trucks yet. But we do have a lot of this. So I think I want maybe 2 more. And if we don't build all of them, that is fine. We have another extra one right there. Okay. With that in mind, where they're going to bring it to. I do want to keep everything relatively close to the coastline, just so that we don't get screwed by. Let's see, you two share one. That's not a long enough drop-off zone for all of you. Okay, that means all of you will share with this guy. Yeah, that's a long enough drop-off zone. You can go there. You would go here, here, here. Beautiful. They can figure that out, and then you two just have a very normal access road over here, and then this can go wherever it needs to go. Workers will come in on the opposite side, so there just has to be a bus stop somewhere nearby. Never deliver your workers into the gravel quarry. That's always a mistake. Let's put that one somewhere over here. Just a dirt path. Doesn't need anything else, but you do need to stay away from the potential. You need to stay away from the gravel traffic, the gravel quarry traffic. There we go. Now it actually made sense. You can go there, and I don't think that one is required, but now the buses can come through here, and those guys can come through there, and then because we are clever, we're going to put a normal-sized fuel station somewhere here, because nobody's going to fill up in here besides the excavators. Got it. Leave the road. because you may decide that you want 2 or 3 more quarries. So get your fuel station. What do we have? We have 35-ton fuel station. Sure. You can go here or right in the middle. I don't see why you couldn't go right in the middle. Nobody else is supposed to drive here, so we may as well go there. I don't want to use a free one. It's really the main thing here. So that should all be fine. That's connected, and now you're just gonna spit out a bunch of gravel. Okay, let's spit out some gravel. What storages do we have available? We have all of them. 34 tons of steel. That's the most well, 1 ton of mechanical components, 1.5 tons, 1.7 tons, 3.5 tons of mechanical components. Oh, what is the difference in those? Like, at what point does it really matter? Steel is still sitting at 150. Let's call it that, 1 ton. Mechanical components is double. So, I mean, okay, so steel is still your much biggest number, and that's still the one that really matters. So 34 tons steel for 2,000, or 27 tons at 1.5. These are about the same. There's not really a big difference besides connectivity. Like, this one is long and lanky, and the other one is not. This one was better out. Oh, they added the in and out for the top of the conveyor belt. That's interesting. That's new. But it's nice. That's nice. That's also part of the community update. So we could probably squish you in here. That you would just feed straight into the gravel conveyor world right there. One of the reasons why we're building this is the chemical industry, and I'm gonna triple check my math to make sure that I didn't completely forget everything again, but you do need gravel. Great. So, a thing that could be helpful is a gravel loading station right here. You do not want to load gravel any other way, but you could plop a gravel loading station right next to the gravel processing plant. Beautiful. With that in mind, you're just gonna go around here. That one goes through the bus station, because why not? And then this one, it's not really a road connection, but that is fine. Realizing what I'm looking at, we are in early access, or not early access, early start. Early start will probably have situations where you have 15 or so trucks trying to deliver your cargo wherever it's necessary. And that could mean that this short little piece will feed into the bus station that sits right there, and then that's overloaded. This length makes me feel better about that not happening. So that's where we are. Fire, building. Generally, there have been a couple fires in the fire station. The fire department has had no problems taking care of that at all. So not terribly worried about it yet, but we're at 50% of that building. Let's get another building started, please and thank you. Okay, you're producing what you're supposed to produce. We are at no unemployment. That's nice. And this can all continue the way it does. Are we done here? No, we're not 100% done. I think, therefore I am, having 1 extra gravel. What is 2,000 tons of gravel? Maybe we should start there. What is 2,000 tons of gravel actually worth? It is worth a fifth? No, 5%. It's worth 5% of this building. That's a lot. I think 2,000 tons of gravel are probably sufficient for whatever we want to do in this area, so I don't think I have to expand the 2,000 from here, especially since this is supposed to be a small operation. It's not supposed to be very large. It's exactly the way it is. Okay, that is all fine. And then B-Ball Joe remembered. Waste. There's waste. Waste matters. So let's not forget about our waste problem. We want to make sure that we can collect all the waste from all the places, and this one can actually collect from all the places. That is amazing. That will leave us with a very short piece of funny road, but I don't care, because this one container, this one waste container setup will be able to handle all the waste that will ever come through here, and that is good enough. Let's take those all back. You just go straight. I just didn't want to have 2 funny pieces of road going right there. That's fine. This one can feed into here, and then the technical service just has to come into that side. But that is aight, because why not? And this is why I wanted to build all of this. Why am I going back and forth on this? Because I'm not 100% sure if this one goes straight to this roundabout, or what we're going to do over here with the rail and the bridges. Because my feeling right now, if I look at our early start wooden rail, is that rail probably would go somewhere like this. That's the natural progression of the rail. It's not a super extreme angle. That's relatively close to, 90 degrees. By that I mean 45. Could easily go in there. It gives us enough room over here on both sides, actually, to do the thing that we want to do. And that is relatively good news. So let's look at our aggregate load unloader. Aggregate loading. Yes, train aggregate loading. You are long with 4 platforms. You are short. Okay, this is the one that we like. We have to figure out how we want to satisfy what this guy needs. Okay, you need to be in and out at some point, and then you need to leave at some point. This is the shorter edge, the shorter end, the shorter side. So it would only make sense if the shorter side is the exit of what we're doing here. The exit would have to enter on this side here. That's the right side of the track. Give me a little bit of length. Cross over here. And then cross over here. And then this one would go onto the normal track. That's good. And then this one has to come in somewhere. Somewhere. And the somewhere should be determined by the shortest, by the smallest angle of turnaround, which is not that one. It's actually this one. That's fine. That will do. That will do. Question is always, do we support multi-platforms? This is gravel. This is high volume. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. Okay. This is fine. This is not perfect, but this is not supposed to be a high productive entry. This is only supposed to be a small little juke at getting things done. The thing that I'm looking at that gives me a little bit of concern is the length of this. How long is you? Your 162 is longer than a distribution office length. So it's pretty good, but we're not gonna. So I will be able to put a signal right there, and probably up to right here. Now we're just at 150 meters. And if we look at our distribution offices, that is not perfect. Area, don't care. 133, 450 meter for a long one. No, those are all mods. 157 meters and 155 meters. So it's telling me we need to be a little longer. Just a little longer. Not a lot longer, but a little longer would go a long way. Haha. So let's see. This is the harder turnaround point. So that's the one that we're going to use. You actually will come out this way. I'm going to make it as tight as possible just to make as many people as possible angry at the tight turn radius. Trust me, it's okay. The trains are trained to do that. Haha. Two in a row. You can't. Nope. We're done with dad jokes. No problem. Okay, you can go through there, and then we're just going to look at the unnecessary nodes that we created. Now this is long enough where I don't feel bad about it. So this is all fine. Trains can come in here and do whatever they need to do. And I can even, if I have to, put a distribution office in the middle here, and they can probably also figure out what they need to do. Great. With that in mind, we can go over here. Yeah, we're going to complete this, but this is going to be a quick time lapse. If I don't see you at the end, there will be a quick run of bridges running over here. And the thing that I always like to do is back up as much as you can. Just like so. And then you also have to figure out if you need to put another piece of roundabout in here somewhere. And then add some bracing rail track just on the outside of this. That should give you enough of a of a safety net. Yeah, let's go with that. That's fine. We're gonna remove these. Gives you a safety net of what you have to build, and then you have to go up. How high do you have to go up? We determined earlier that was just about 6 meters for bridges to be able to be moved here or to be placed here. So all we really have to do is use the excavators that we have, make a big old blob around here, figure out we are 10.76 meters. So once we're at like 18 meters is really what we want to get to. And we already have the dart of the previous road in front of us, so we know exactly how high we have to go. Which is somewhere around here. If you did go a little bit too high, not a problem. 18.3 meters is probably more than sufficient. We're going to raise it a little bit on this side, and then we're going to raise it on this side in the same area where the road already was. Okay, I'll complete this really quick. And for you, thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated. Keep telling me what I'm doing wrong. Don't worry about too much what I'm doing right. I hope I'm doing most of the things right, but yeah, please keep pointing it out, because every once in a while there are some good gems in there that actually help the whole series, the challenge of the series, the productivity of the series, everything that goes on in the series immensely. Plus, YouTube likes comments, so keep commenting on the things that you feel like are worth commenting. Very much appreciated. Yep, that's good. Okay, bye-bye.